Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to this edition of Nuggets of Wisdom. My name is Empress Pamela. Today I am sharing with you notes from journals and workbooks and writings of things about how to find out who you are, your true passion. Why are you here? Just notes that I've taken over the years. This is under the heading of spirituality, but I feel like it could be under the heading of healing, passion, like I said. Just some tips and tricks, and maybe something you haven't heard before. I will begin by saying, well, I've already begun and I've already said, but if you haven't already done it, this is a key component, a key tool for how to figure out who you are. So, why you were born, who you are, what is your purpose, what are the lessons you're here to learn, what is the contribution that you're here to make. And the tool is a natal birth chart. Now, the source that I used is cafeastrology.com. You can try that. You need to know, for the most accurate and in depth report, you need to know your date of birth, your time of birth, that is critical, and place of birth, and all of those components, and just ask for a free natal birth chart, and you should get like a 25-page-ish report on where all the planets were at the moment of your birth and what it means to you specifically. So please start with that. And I did that, well, for years and years. Okay, let's just say for a long time, for almost my entire life. I knew that I was born on June 21st, and I was on what I found out later, the cusp. So I didn't know if I was Gemini, and didn't know if I was Cancer, and I'm talking about sun sign because I didn't know there were other signs like rising and moon and all that. I was always confused about whether or not I was a Gemini or a Cancer. And one time when I was probably around 20, um, my mom and I went to the recording of a show, and this woman was an astrologer. I wouldn't say she was a psychic, but anyway, she was an astrologer. And I participated, and she said, and I said my birth, and she goes, "Oh, yeah, you're on the cusp." And then she said, "Who was the more dominant parent?" And that was her question. I said, "My mother." And she said, "Oh, then you're Cancer." I don't know. But then when I went into doing my actual chart and everything, I have like a stellium in Cancer and in Virgo. So that means three or more planets in one sign. So I'm very heavy water and earth in my chart. And these are things that you'll learn if you are drawn to it as part of your spiritual journey. But yeah, I became involved or interested, I would say, more in depth with astrology, numerology at one time. I did charts for my friends. And then I got into crystals, and everyone is drawn to different things. So, but that's part of my path, I guess. But knowing your natal birth chart is a very important tool, I would say. um, to help you start understanding yourself on a more complex, in depth level. And it's not just all the great traits about you, it could be your shadow side, which that's important as well to understand the whole kit and caboodle, so to speak. Anyway, my notes, reading, guidance. What is my passion? Meditate on it. So if you want to know what your passion is, perhaps the answers will be found in meditation. Be a sanctuary and lighthouse for others. Focus, material fulfillment, overcoming. Here's my cat. She might come and just sit on the picture. Hi, Pika. I told you she would. It's Pikachu. Everything happens for a reason, so I'm not going to edit it out. Hopefully, she'll just sit down and relax. Use these words: more, make, meaning, mountain, moon, maximum, mentor, mind, minimum, mythical, mysterious, meditation, magical. Now she's on my notes. Manifest, miracle, many, money, moment, millionaire, mega, meta, mastery. Those are all M words. I don't know why I have to use them. Who am I? 5 ways to find your true self. Hi, baby girl. Number 1, be self-aware. I mean, understanding what you like to do, what brings you joy. That would make sense, right? Second way to find your true self. Examine your emotions and thoughts in various situations. Like what resonates with you. I think your character, understanding your character. If you're in a friend group and someone's not operating on the same, or they do something that doesn't sit well with you, that might sit to your character and what's important to you and how you operate as a human. Number 3, and then you'll understand further down the line that, pay attention to who you surround yourself with, and maybe then learning about protecting your energy and stepping away from things that no longer resonate with you. Like sometimes if a friendship doesn't really resonate, it doesn't make sense to put energy into it if it's not something that brings you joy and peace of mind. Number 3, ask yourself what your higher self wants. That's something that can be done in meditation. But, how to get that? I would say, now I just turned 60 and I've had cancer, so I'm not getting any younger, which I realize, right? But I've been thinking more about, I don't want to have regrets on my deathbed, but what are the things that I will regret if I don't accomplish them in this lifetime? So maybe that's a bucket list that you have, right? Maybe that's what does your higher self want? Well, you want to do certain things. There are certain things that maybe goals or aspirations that you've had your entire life and maybe they haven't quite been accomplished. Maybe that's part of your character development, things that you need to get done that your higher self wants. I don't know. Something to explore. Number 4, be open to miracles. Yeah, avoid limitations. Don't put limits on yourself. Well, I'm 60, so I can't do this, that, or the other because of my age, because of my weight, because of my education, because of my monetary status. Any of those. Forget the limitations. Be open to miracles. Where there's a will, there's a way. I don't know, that came to mind. The fifth way to find your true self: ask, who am I? Well, do like a brain dump, do a brainstorming session. Writing is very healing, it's a good tool for introspection. Write it down. You can also create a vision board if you want. So ask, who am I? And then take it a step further. Is that really me? I mean, maybe you're just saying, oh, I'm this, that, and the other, and you're regurgitating what's been told to you, how you've been programmed your whole life. But then ask the follow-up question, is that really me? Okay. How to be a spiritual person. Number 1, boundaries. Yeah. Having boundaries, learning to protect your energy, learning the importance of that. That takes a while. Well, it took a while for me because I'm an empath, and putting boundaries up with your loved ones, especially if you're operating in a certain way your whole relationship the whole time, then it's like putting those boundaries up can become, I want to say, controversial, because you're then changing your behavior and the recipient is going to notice and they won't be used to it, so they'll feel the distance. It might create a whole thing. Number 2, how to be a spiritual person. Authenticity. Once you shed your ego and you find out who you truly are, being authentic, speaking your truth, is almost automatic, because you can't not tell the truth. The truth just comes out automatically sometimes. Oh, number 3, repression. You can't repress. Repression is not a thing. Repression is creates blockages and is can affect our health. Repression creates disease. Yeah. So we learn to let go. We learn to unblock our chakras. We learn to meditate, let go through all different ways. Cleansing our energy, unblocking our chakras, movement. Yeah, there's no room for repression, I want to say. Number 4, healthy relationships. Wow. I have to speak on this one. I've been in my own dilemma of sorts, I want to say. I'm holding on to, I want to say now, and I've realized this for a while, but it was kind of my last straw, my last get together with a friend made me realize that it wasn't a reciprocal relationship. I gave over the course of our friendship, I gave more than I received, and I knew that. But then what was happening was I was becoming resentful, and because I didn't feel, I felt like it was an uneven relationship, and I don't have many friends, so maybe it was me just desperate to hold on to the one friend I had left, right? But I realized that some people are more takers than givers. They don't believe in reciprocity. And I've always operated from reciprocity, almost too generous. I probably, in my toxic era, bought people stuff, paid for friendships, I want to say. Wanted to be looked at in a different way as a good person. So I would buy someone's way, I would buy them their coffee, all that kind of stuff, which is a toxic thing and comes from a position of low self-worth, I would say. But yeah, I think that I'll just say it because she probably won't even listen to this, but it kind of annoyed me. It hurt me that I turned 60 and she didn't even send me a happy birthday or anything or an acknowledgement, even if it was a day or two after. There was nothing said. And I had people, friends from a long time ago, reach out. Friends that I hadn't seen in years reach out and wish me happy birthday. But this person that I saw less than a month prior didn't even wish me happy birthday. And we had talked about it, and I had remembered her birthday and sent it, and it was a pivotal birthday for her. But that was one thing. And then whatever, I gave her a whole bunch of clothes, some of it new with tags and whatever. And I had to like follow up with her 2 days after saying, "Oh, did anything work out for you?" Like she didn't, and I had asked her, I go, "Oh, send me a picture of the thing you like the best," and she never did it. It was just, ooh, oh, look at, there's a blue jay. Let me see if I can get him. Oh, he just blew away. He just blew away. He just flew away. That was wild. Blue jay. I'm going to have to look up the significance of that. But yeah, so now this association is making me feel bad. Made me feel bad about myself. And I just can't condone that type of behavior because that's not how I would operate. And why do I want to be around someone who doesn't respect? I felt disrespected. Yeah, why do I want to put myself through that? So it's a tough one, but it's not a healthy relationship. Let's just leave it there. Thank you for letting me get it off my chest, by the way. How to be a spiritual person. We are working on it. Well, like, you're a work in progress and understanding that the healing is never really done. You're just continuing to evolve. Number 6, find your true self. Be self-aware. Be open to miracles. Examine your emotions and thoughts. Ask, who am I? Ask what your higher self wants. Okay. Yeah. Let's see. Okay. Now I have a section on healing. Number 1, act in accordance with your inner wisdom. Number 2, your soul wants you to be who you truly are. Yeah. It almost, at some point, it becomes painful to not be who you truly are, to not speak your truth, to not be authentic. You really can't do it. You get to the point where it just, if it doesn't resonate, then it doesn't resonate. And that's the truth, period. Number 3, trust yourself. Leave a legacy of light. Trust yourself. Leave a legacy of light. Number 4, show up and show who you are. Stories, gifts. Number 5, love. Be in your bliss. Yeah. If relationships are leaving you with the vibration of less than love and above, maybe that's not the right situation. So aspire to be at the frequency of love and above. So find your joy, find your peace, find your happiness, love. Number 6, restore and replenish. If you don't have the energy and you know you can't expend yourself or you're not going to be at your optimum, then it is time to restore and replenish. Self care, protecting your energy, getting grounded, being in solitude can help you restore your energy. Eating healthy, moving your body gently. Number 7, fearless, part of your mission. Overcoming your fear, that might be part of the lessons that you have to learn. Step into your true self. It takes courage. Number 8, beauty. Share your inner beauty with the world. Well, that's what I try to do on this channel. I share my truth. Is it beautiful? Sometimes, sometimes not. It's the truth. It's being authentic. It's giving you nuggets of wisdom that either will benefit you or you already know, but will strengthen your resolve, will make you feel like you're not alone, that you're on the right path. Something I say, hopefully, will add value to you. It will be some sort of guidance. Hopefully, you see it that way. Number 9, path. Trust your unfolding path. Yeah, trust. Like I said in an earlier video, I came across, or I dug up my old blog that I had started back in 2010. It's called Buzz Buckingham. And I had the bright idea that since it wasn't very, I don't want to say well read, had maybe 5 followers or something, but I was like, how could I share this with my audience on YouTube? Well, I can read it. And so I do that. I have a playlist called Buzz Buckingham. And sure enough, back in 2010, I was on a healing journey. I wouldn't have called it that. Maybe I did, but I didn't realize it. And that was part of my path. It's the journey, our lives, as it unfolds. I mean, it's what's meant to be. It's our story. It's our evolution. So trusting that all the things that happened back in 2010 that I wrote about that I didn't realize, and I read back in 2025 and I'm like, holy shit, that was 15 years ago? Wow. Plus I thought, I'm a pretty good writer too. And for you, embrace your talents. Yes, you are good at these things. Don't be afraid to pat yourself on the back. It's part of self-love. It's part of recognizing your value, right? Number 10, establish boundaries. Oh, yep. You need to protect yourself. You don't need to take the abuse. I talk about my toxic relationship with my father, and but yeah, I talk about abuse. It doesn't have to be physical. Verbal, mental abuse is just as, maybe more scarring. I don't think people acknowledge it as much, and it may come out later in life, which, yeah. So bottom line is, we're in this together. I love you. I love myself. That's why I'm sharing this with you. Hope to see you in the next one, and take care.